Okay, so the first thing what you have to do, first you have to copy your program into the home folder. So first we will do the same thing, and remember the program name server.c and client.c. Okay, because it will require when you will run these programs. So in the home folder we have kept both the program. Now what you have to do, you have to start from application. You have to choose a terminal. Okay, so mainly two terminals required. Okay, so we will choose two terminal here. Already we have discussed client program and the server program in the practical. So first we will run this program. Okay, so we know always the server is ready to provide service to the client. So first we will run the server program. So GCC and then server program name. So server.c. Okay, and the output server. After that you need to write /server. Okay, so in this way you have to use this command. Now our server is activated now. Now what we will do, we will start the client side. So at the client side, the same thing, GCC client.c, then for the output client, and then /client. So take a screenshot so that it will helpful to you to remember the command. Now the client is connected to server. Now in this way you will get a command, the client is connected to the server. Now what you have to do, you have to send, he will ask you the file name. So simply provide the file name to the client. Okay, so for example I am giving a file name that is main.java. The file name is not there. If it is there, it will send in the reply. See, the file is not found, so we got the response. Here the request sent and found the response. Now we'll see any file in a home folder is there or not, or we will create here. So simply go to the home folder. So in places, home folder, and what we will do, we will create one file here, and the file name is, for example, main. Okay, and in this file, for example, I am putting my name. I will save this file, use this file. For example, this main file is there. Again, what we will do, I will run the client program. Okay, but again, actually, I have to run this server program too. So first, actually, we have to run the server program. Client is connected to server now. We have given file name that is main and txt file. File not request sent, file not found. So I think we should put only the main. Okay. So now again, I have to start the server. dot c server and dot slash server. And at this side, TCP client dot c. We start the execution from beginning. Two terminals required. So in one terminal, simply I will put TCP server.c dashboard server and dot slash server. Server is ready now. TCP client dot c dashboard client dot slash client connected to server. Now file name is, for example, main C. The response received, that is searching validation. So here we have output. Now briefly again we discuss the program, what is inside the program. So we have discussed earlier, these are the header files required. These header files are available in Ubuntu only. That's why we have run this program in Ubuntu. It is very difficult to find this header file in Windows. So it is better to use, if you are running your program in C language, so it is better to use Linux language operating system. So here we have started a program. Required variables we have initialized here, the one buffer and file name array we have initialized here. Now we want to store the address, that is a combination of IP address and port number. So that's why we have to create one structure, and here we are providing the name of the structure, that is sock address in. So this name of structure we have created. Then the first function is socket. In the last practical we have discussed socket. Here we define what kind of communication we desire here. For example, PFINet, it means we are going to use IPv4. Sock stream means how the connection is made. The connection is connection oriented. So sock stream connection we are using here, and 0 is a by default value. Okay. So now here these three things we are putting into the socket. Sorry, in the structure. So structure sock address. So here underscore in address ADDR. So this ADDR variable you will find here, this ADDR. So first we are defining, like we are using IPv4. So for the IPv4, the address is reserved. So this is the IPv4 address, and INET address is nothing but the internet address, and 7891 is a port number. What we are doing here, we are transferring our port number into the network address. So host to network short, S stands for the short. Okay, so host to network, we are converting this port number into the network, and this is the internet address. So after the first function, the second one is bind. So in bind, actually earlier we have defined the IP, what kind of communication we are desiring, like IPv4 address. We have defined the address that is 127.0.1. This is a loopback address. Like why? Because you have seen both the program we are running on the same machine. So without going the packet into the network, what we want to do, we want to come back the same packet into your same computer. So that's why we want a loopback address. So 127.0.1, this address we have used. If you want to run this program on different computers, so at that time you have to specify respect to computer addresses. Okay. Now second is a bind. In the bind function, what we are doing, we are binding IP address and port number together. So 127.0.1, this is the IP address, and the 7891 is the port number. When you will bind together, it will create a socket. Okay, like you have mobile phone, you have a SIM card, but it will not work until and unless you will put your SIM card into your mobile phone. Similarly, first thing that we have to create a socket. So here we have created socket, and the name is given, that is welcome. The welcome is the name of the socket. So whenever the packet is received for the name welcome, this server process will accept that packet. Okay, so bind is created, it means socket is created. Now the server is ready to listen. Okay, so the next step is listen. So if anyone send a packet for the respective socket who having the particular IP address and port number, the name is given welcome. So in that case, the packet is accepted. So welcome stand for, this is the name of the process in which IP address and port number we have put it here. Okay, see here, the welcome is the name, structure socket address point to this location, that is socket address. We are pointing here, and what we have stored here, ADDR. So ADDR is for this IP address and port number we have stored here. So both the thing we are pointing out, and we are allocating this IP address and port number to this welcome. How it is doing, because of this header file, you no need to worry. These are the standard functions that we have to define. So if the function runs successfully, it will return non-negative value. If it will return negative value, you can detect here. If value is less than 0, you can print the error message for the every function. Okay. So the listen, simply you have to provide the name of your socket and how many client can connect with the server. Now here the problem is what? We have not created fork. Okay, fork means these are the different required function. Okay, socket, bind, listen. These replica we want to create for the different client. Okay, but here these different this kind of fork we have not created. So obviously this program will work on only one computer. But for your knowledge, to remember, 5 means how many client can connect with the server. Okay, so the next step is accept. In the accept, welcome, and here it is null because we are using same loopback address. If you are using different computer, instead of this, you have to copy this part. Structure socket address point to address and size of address. This part you have to put here, because whatever the address getting from the client, you have to copy into the welcome name. Okay, so here if the packet is received for this address, it will accepted, and the client address is copied into the new socket. It is the same, so that's why it is null is written over here. So these are the main function, that is socket, bind, listen, accept. After that, you will simply receive and send the response to the client. So you are receiving new socket from the client. What you are receiving? File name. Okay, so F name. Here we have defined this F name in array F name. So file name. The size of array, that is 50, and this is a simply sequence number, that is 0. So we are receiving these things. After receiving these things, what we will do? We will send a file. So fd open file name. So what we are doing here, we are opening a file. Like what we did earlier, we have sent a main. In a main file, I have put in my name, and whenever the client asks for the particular file, the server open the file and send the name to the client. Okay. So this is the file name, and this file name we are going to open for read mode only. Okay. So after opening, what we are doing here, we are sending this file. So send to whom? The client, obviously. So what is the client IP address and port number? We have put it here in accept step, that is new socket. So client IP address and port number is put it here. Okay. And if the file is not found, it will return a negative value. So that's why here we are checking fd is less than 0. If file is not open, so it will return a value which is less than 0, and we can send file not found. Here if you count, these characters are 15. That's why the 15 value is put in here. It means the size of message. Else, if the file open, what we will do? We will read the file and send all data to the client. So that's why we are reading a file, okay, and we send. So FD will put data into the buffer and the size of buffer, okay, and this send, if it is greater than 0, obviously we can send the data. So send the data to new socket, whatever into the buffer and whatever the size, based on size. That's why n variable and the sequence name. So after that request send, this command will print and close the connection. So this is the program for the server side. And if you will see the client side program, once you implement the server program, the client side program you will get a free of cost, which is similar to the server program. Okay. So where is the server program now? This thing. So server client program. So we have discussed server program. Now you can simply copy this part from the server program, which is same to same. These things we have discussed: header file, the different variables that will require, the structure, socket address, right, socket function, and this IP address and port number, which are same for the server as well as the client. Now the new part is from here. Like we are connecting, so connecting with the socket. SOC is what? SOC is the address of this client. That is the same of the server also. So we are connecting, so we want to send this address to the server. So in the socket SOC, there is the address of IP address and port number. So after connecting, the client will copy this IP address and port number to their end. Okay, so client is connected. So after doing this, so here we can check the error, or directly here the client is connected to server, enter a file name. We can print this command after entering a file name. So file name is you enter into the F name. This F name we have to send. So send to whom we are sending this data, to SOC. SOC is the IP address and port number of this client, the same which is for the server also. So the file name, so whatever the file name you have entered here, this file name, and the size of file name. So we don't know, so size of F name we can write here and check. So after sending this, what we want to, we will print this, simply print here, receive a response, and then we will receive a response from the server. So while n is equal to receive socket buffer, size of buffer greater than 0. So simply we will receive a responses and print, okay, print the data into the whatever data inside the buffer. At the client side, simply we are printing a data, whatever data you have received into the buffer. So same data we are printing here. So this is a very simple program. If you understand server program, you can easily understand the client program. So already, actually, in my previous discussion, already I have recorded the detailed explanation of TCP Socket Program and TCP Client Program. First, watch that video so that you can properly understand. Thank you. I think the practical time is over now, so you can view the practical. Thank you. Time is over. That's why